Let's post that I'm live. All right, and let's see. Post sent. I'm so excited. I'm just going to adjust a couple of things here. A little adjustment of graphics. There we go. And this way I can actually see the chat. Okay. So the way that this is going to work is, I'm super excited. Let me adjust this too. Gosh, I am so stoked, y'all. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to do this. Let's see. That might work better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the way this is gonna go is I am going to pull up the archive, and within the archive there's a series of books that you can just find over the course of the world. I haven't found all of them. I have found a lot of them, but I haven't found all of them. So what I'm going to do is, at least for now, I'm going to go ahead and read what I have. I have most of them, as far as I can tell. Let's see, I have ballad selection. I have all of this. So yeah, I have most of it. And I believe it'll tell me if I'm missing some. And then what I think I'm going to do after I read these is I'm going to go in, and it might take a little bit of time, but my hope is that I'll be able to go in through all of this and take snippets of the recording and then post those individually to my YouTube channel. So if we see here, yeah, I think I have. I have all of it. And there are some that I haven't fully finished yet that aren't on here at all, but yeah, I am super stoked. So, and some of these are actual stories, and some of them are more like instruction manuals, but they're honestly really funny. And I'm really excited to read them. A lot of them I haven't actually read at all yet. So, let's get started just with the Teyvat travel guide. This is going to be interesting. I look forward to seeing what you guys think of this. So, without further ado, Volume 1, Mondstadt Chapter, Teyvat Geographic Special Edition, Alice's Mondstadt Diaries, Dadaupa Gorge. The 3 Hilichurl tribes located in this valley are all densely populated. What if we built a huge, spinning, ball-shaped cell in the center of the valley and threw all of the Hilichurls into it? That way, we might be able to generate enough energy to power all of the mills in Mondstadt for at least 5 years. If we took it one step further by grinding the Hilichurls that are too old or too weak into food and feeding them to the strong ones, we might just build ourselves a perpetual motion machine that can support a huge factory like in Snezhnaya. It seems totally feasible to me. When I told Miss Lisa about this idea, she just looked at me and pondered in silence for a long time, then changed the subject gracefully. Starsnatch Cliff. Say that one 5 times fast. Starsnatch Cliff. The Anemo Archon is a bit too undisciplined for me. If I were a god, I would not have allowed my realm to look so unorganized and ragged. With enough bombs placed in proper positions, even huge cliffs like Starsnatch would crumble into dust in a second. With flatter terrain, Mondstadt would surely look much nicer. But that unctuous cavalry captain rejected my proposal instantly. He even asked me to stay away from Starsnatch Cliff. Windtrace. At the center, there's a huge oak tree. It is said that Vanessa ascended there. I searched around the tree for a long time, but did not find any launching device. I grabbed some Hilichurls nearby to put my theory to the test. Sadly, the longest flying distance was from here to the hunters' huts around Springvale. How disappointing. Falcon Coast. My unsuccessful experiment caused quite a stir in Springvale, so Miss Jean from the Knights of Favonius arranged someone to keep tabs on me. All I could do all day was wander around at Falcon Coast. This is such a boring place. Those stupid eagles hovering in the sky and puffed up Anemo slimes all bored me to death. The worst of all was that I had nothing to do. On the other hand, the outrider girl who was sent to monitor me had quite a lot of fun with the kids. Whispering Woods. Yet another forest in Mondstadt. This outrider named Amber seemed to know her way around this place. The explosive toy she carried around caught my attention. With some tweaks, I could turn it into something that could blow this forest and even the nearby mountains into smithereens easily. My proposal seemed to scare her, but an explosive stuffed toy is indeed a brilliant idea. I must try it out next time. Bright Crown Canyon. I finally got rid of that stalker from the Knights of Favonius. This valley I found at the northeast coast of Cider Lake is still guarded by ancient mechanisms, but the soldiers responsible for holding the pass for the King of Gales were nowhere to be found now. All the winds of time had left behind were the unintelligent Hilichurls and silent mechanical guards. My attempt to control the ruin guards with Hilichurls failed as well. The guard split into pieces, and as for the fate of the Hilichurl strapped onto it, I will spare you the gory details. Half of the ruins were also destroyed in the process. Storm Terror's Lair. Bright Crown Canyon leads to this huge ruin of an ancient city, which was built by the cruel king of Gales, Decarabian. The city was built in a ring shape. It seems that every resident of the city had been arranged their own spot between the inner and outer rings. Right in the center of the city was the tall tower where the king of Gales resided. The ruins of the domain of this cruel king, who once tried to control his people's lives, are now utterly deserted. I blew up a few arcades so people can climb up the tower more easily. Looks quite good to me. The ruins feel more ancient now. Volume 2, Liyue Chapter. Teyvat Geographic Special Edition. Alice's Travels in Liyue. I love Alice, for the record. Alice is absolutely insane, and I am delighted. I get very strong Klee vibes from this character in the best way, except it's very intentional instead of accidental destruction of everything around her. It's fantastic. Anyway, Volume 2, the Liyue Chapter. I haven't read most of these, for the record. I read Volume 1 of the Teyvat Travel Guide, and then I didn't read Volume 2 yet, so we'll see where this goes. Dihua Marsh. The northern stretch of the Bishui River. Bishui? I'm probably gonna butcher it. Liyue has words I cannot pronounce very well. I fully admit it, but I will try. The northern stretch of the Bishu River turns into a wetland. If you look south beyond the stone gate, you'll see a silver grass marsh as far as the eye can see. At the southernmost point of the marsh is an inn perched atop a giant rock. This is the Wangshu Inn, the highest point on the entire marsh. Look south from there and you'll see the Guili Plains. You can also make out the Guyun Stone Forest across the sea. Also, there's a weirdo staying at the inn on the top floor. I don't think I've ever heard him say a single word. That, of course, being Zhao. Lunch is a true feast at the Wangshu Inn. The kitchen is equipped with every utensil you could imagine. Perfect for getting some practical alchemy experience. On the topic of alchemy practice, I've got a few new things to test out in my search for an explosion catalyst. And if everything goes smoothly, I'll spend a few more days here, then head to the Guili Plains. The Guili Plains. In the end, I came to the Guili Plains a few days earlier than I'd originally planned. Records suggest that prior to the Archon War, this area was a thriving marketplace. The foxes and wild finches are stunning here, with fur and feathers that have a certain glow about them. But I hear they can be pests, too. Liyue locals complain that they keep eating their fruit offerings to the Geo Archon. I wonder if that gives them a fruity aroma when roasted. Maybe I should go hunting. They run a strict operation at the checkpoint on the main road, but the guards who work there are friendly people. I made a potion from some local herbs and gave it to one of them for his stutter. It cured him, but it did have some minor side effects. He now can't help but constantly imitate everyone he comes across. Not just what they say, but the way they say it. It's uncanny how spot on his impressions are. Jueyun Karst. I am told that somewhere amidst the misty peaks of Jueyun Karst lives an Adeptus, the exact location hidden somewhere in the ocean of cloud. All the Liyue herb gatherers claim to have seen the realm of the Adepti in all its glory revealed before their very eyes in the clouds. Based on personal experience, I can say that overindulging on certain types of mushrooms can induce visions of a similar nature. The terrain here fascinates me. So many of these stone pillars look like they belong deep underground, not here on top of a mountain. There's supposed to be an underground reservoir here. Part of me wonders if all the water was drawn out. Perhaps Jueyun Karst would find itself back on the ocean floor where it belongs. My travel companion Zhang Li is the sternest person I know, but he seems most entertained by this theory. He won't stop laughing. What an odd fellow. Yaguang Shoal. I've heard that the fog often rolls in off the sea into Yaguang Shoal, and when it's at its thickest, you can barely see your hand at the end of your outstretched arm. Unfortunately, I didn't make it here in time to see a foggy episode. It's a bit of a shame. There's so many lovely shells on the beach. I wonder how many of them have been here since the Archon War. I strung some of them together to make a necklace, but unfortunately that fisherman from the inn sat on it and broke it. Every last shell brutally crushed beneath his merciless buttocks. None were spared. Not only that, but because he injured himself on the shards of broken shell, I had to pay his medical bills. A giant conch shell stands on the beach where the Bishri River enters the sea. A kind old lady lives inside. Her family is said to have sailed here on the giant shell, and she spends her time rescuing shipwrecked people who end up drifting near the shore. I think that repurposing the giant shell as a self-propelled boat would make it much easier for her to rescue people from the sea. But after I lost control of my third prototype seashell boat and it blew up, the kind old lady decided she was not going to rescue me from the sea anymore. Guyanstone Forest. This is a site where the Geo-Archon defeated the sea monster. Some of the great stone spears that pierce the ocean floor still tower above the surface of the sea, though many snapped long ago. The hexagonal stone pillars, formed from a conglomeration of geo-energy, are quite intriguing to look at. Viewed from above, one gets the impression that they were deliberately arranged in their current form to make a specific shape on the ocean surface. Maybe that was the real reason the Geo-Archon rained down destruction on the ocean floor with his stone spears. Maybe it was all just a big joke, albeit in extremely poor taste. Zhang Li from Liyue Harbor seems extremely knowledgeable on Liyue folklore, but I've never actually seen him come here. I can see the Wangshu Inn in the distance. I'll bet that weirdo I met there last time is still staring this way now. The flow of the ley lines around here is unique in all of Liyue, much more dynamic, somewhat unstable. It's as if a great relentless power stirs somewhere in the depths of the ocean. Perhaps it is the defeated sea monster, still writhing on the ocean floor. And it appears that I have not yet found Volume 3, which makes me exceptionally sad. But the show must go on. This is so good. So good, you guys. The Mondstadt Tower, Volume 1. In the time of the aristocrats, there stood a high tower in Mondstadt's plaza. It was built to honor Barbados, the Animo Archon in name, yet in reality it was nothing more than a flamboyant display of wealth and power by the royals to gloat over the commoners. The one time in the year that the commoners living in these dark times could find a little solace was during the Ludi Harpastum. During one Ludi Harpastum, a wandering singer from a distant land arrived in the city. The name of the lass was Ines, and everyone at the festival was enchanted by her stunning beauty. People of all ages and all walks of life vied to catch a glimpse of her throwing the Harpastum and to hear her sing foreign ballads. The blessings of Barbados are for everyone. You are only sinful if you are bitter at such a joyous occasion. As she sang these verses, she handed out her earnings during the festival to the poor and orphans in the city. A frail figure stood among the crowds. He was the seneschal, and he fell for her at first sight. But his religious piety filled him with a frustration at his inability to suppress the emotions he was experiencing, and her acts of charity, which violated the church's right to aid the poor, irked him all the more. As is known to all, the beliefs of contemporary Mondstadters hold that the Animo Archon Barbados encourages people to seek love and pursue freedom. But in the Dark Ages, the Animo Archon slept, and the city was tormented by the tyranny of the nobles, the poverty of the commoners, and the ravage of the dragon. Meanwhile, the self-proclaimed Orthodox Church, a mere figurehead controlled by the ruling class, advocated abstinence from earthly pleasures to avert divine punishment. Under such circumstances, even the harp, which symbolized the wind, had been restricted to playing only those songs deemed holy. However, the notion of divine punishment was little more than an excuse fabricated by the nobles to conceal their avarice and restrict the commoners. To let her stay in the city is to bewitch all its inhabitants. What wickedness will this witch bring? The seneschal pondered. And so the seneschal plotted to hunt down Ines and to confine her to the cathedral while awaiting further instructions. As per the traditions of the time, the maiden chosen to throw the harpastum should serve at the royal court for 3 days after the celebration, under the protection of the aristocrats. The seneschal decided to send his adopted son, Octave, to sneak into the royal court and abduct Ines. Octave was an unwelcome child, abandoned by his superstitious parents at birth, and later raised by the seneschal. As a child, he was persecuted and abused by the citizens, seen as a bad omen of draconic disasters. The only person who protected Octave was the seneschal, who treated him like his own son and thus won his utmost trust. Bring the maiden who threw the harpastum yesterday to me. Disturb no one, and do not mention my name. Under orders from the seneschal, Octave climbed into the balcony of the court chambers at nightfall. Upon seeing the girl weeping in the moonlight, his pure heart was stirred, for he had never seen such a wondrous sight. He gazed at the girl, leaving his task forgotten. But the silence of the tranquil moment shared by Octave and the girl was interrupted by the servants. I really want Volume 2 on that one. Oh my god. It looks like I am still lacking the draft Hilly Troll ballads. I'll have to go and find those. Oh, it does tell you if you've finished it or not, I think. Yeah, there's that little symbol there. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Cool. The Legend of Vanessa. Friends of Mondstadt, let us revel. Drink to your heart's content, to freedom, to the Animo Archon, to Vanessa, the first knight to grace this world. Sons and daughters of Mondstadt, may the gift from the Animo Archon be engraved in your hearts, and let it be known that this gift is not freedom, but just defiance. It transpired in ages past. Friends, do excuse me for improvising, for it should be clear as day that the glory and freedom of Mondstadt were born when Barbados struck the strings dulce. Poems sing of heroic fame, yet to commemorate unnamed freedom should they aim. Chained by the royals, Mondstadt could barely suspire, and festivities were but vanity games of the rich, beyond the grasp of the ordinary people. A withering dungeon Mondstadt was. In slavery games the royals gaily relished, oblivious to their place the inmates were. A fiery-headed dame confined to a cell, from the southern plains she did hail. Born free, but now bound by chains, though restrained by a tyrant her flesh remained. Still her pious soul never ceased to pray, for her people, for Mondstadt, for elusive freedom, if she may. Friends of Mondstadt, let us revel. Let us revel, drink to your heart's content. The day came when Barbados answered her devotion. The Animo Archon sought her fiery hair and descended to her position. Every being deserves a name, the spirit grinned. To weave your fair name into a song I yearn. I seek nothing but your friendship in return. The girl happily reciprocated, her fears swiftly dissipated. And so, to the battlefield, she marched to Barbados' singing voice. The demonic dragon fled from her might, and the people did rejoice. Corpulent aristocrats crawled under tables at such a valiant sight. Mondstadt is freedom, the winds sang for their people in delight. Lonely forest breezes converged. Jointly they overthrew the tyrant's tower from the sky. Broken free from shackles at last, the young lioness stood firm in the winds with her head held high. And so the fiery-headed dame won herself prestigious fame, but her heart swelled with appreciation to sing by the animal Archon's side. But no words of gratitude should she utter, Barbados replied. You first conducted what now transpires in your song. You have entrusted me with your friendship and your name. To praise your freedom, my songs came. Friends, let us drink some more, for thence flows the freedom of Mondstadt. When days become nights and faces fill with despair, never forget the heroic tales of Vanessa, the dame with the flaming hair. Never cease to pursue freedom, even when the land is bare. Hilly Churl Ballad Selection, Volume 1. A collection of Hilly Churl poetry compiled by the Mondstadt ecologist Jacob Musk. During the writing of this book, Musk traveled across the continent to visit every Hilly Churl tribe, even going so far as to venture deep into Hilly Churl settlements and become intimately acquainted with their lives. Musk was praised as the poet laureate of Hilly Churlian for this book, but it is evident that neither the scholar himself nor the Hilly Churls were particularly fond of this honor. Jacob Musk, though enthusiastic about Hilly Churl studies, loathed to be associated with them even in his late years. Rude. The first song. Mi moheyi, mi biatyi dada, muhi dada. Quite possibly a battle song sung by the Hilly Churls before combat, I've observed that when two or more Hilly Churls are present, they engage in frenzied brawling after singing this vulgar song. The second poem. Eleka mimi adumo, mita domu adada, la la la, la la la, mimi mosi yamita. The song is sung by Hilly Churls as they dance around totem poles. In my estimation, it is some form of tribal hymn. It has an upbeat tone and is usually heard during festivals. The third poem. Mi muhe mita nye, mi muhe mita nye, muhe nye, gusha, biat gusha. A melancholic Hilly Churl song I heard during an exchange with an elderly Sama Churl. Although I do not yet understand the literal meaning of the poem, the overwhelming sense of grief that comes through in the song is enough to captivate the best poets in my birthplace. Despite such praise, I must admit the acrid smells coming from the elderly Hilly Churls were just as melancholic and just as overwhelming. This guy's the worst. Volume 2. The fourth poem. Seli upa seli, sada shatolata, kuzi unu yadzido, una dada. A song sung by Sama Churls. Judging by the reaction of the chief, the song seems to bear a special philosophical meaning for the Hilly Churls. It may appear ridiculous in mainstream academic circles, and I have no intention of casting doubt upon well-established views, but I feel obliged to say that the question of whether philosophical discourse truly exists among the Hilly Churls is one that still fascinates me to this day, and may be deserving of further study. The fifth song. Neni mova muhiyoyo, neni mova mimitomo, lata mova mosioyo, seli mova selioyo. Much like the people of Mondstadt, the wind-worshipping Hilly Churl tribes often drink to excess and sing endless songs of praise to the Anemo Archon. This is a Hilly Churl ode that is often heard when they are inebriated. The sixth song. Uno, uno, yaya ika kundula, uno, uno, mita dada yada la, uno, uno, kuzi mita dada yi, mita dada a mi. a pious ode that is only sung by hilly churls during sacrifices. When performing this ode, the hilly churls often add percussion by beating the backsides of the weakest tribe members with planks, creating rhythmic ringing sounds. It must be quite painful. The seventh song. Mimi movo, mimi sada, mimi domu, domu upa, gushadada. It appears that many hilly-churl tribes share a tradition of exchanging songs around bonfires in the moonlight. This song is one such bonfire ballad sung by the chief at the end of the night. At the end of the song, the chief shouts "Nunu" 3 times, which presumably carries the meaning of sleep. Now, I know that I don't have the entire diary of Roll the Adventurer, but I will read what I do have. I'm missing volume 4, 7, and 8, at least. Yeah. Anyway. Diary of Rold the Adventurer, Volume 1, Saltere. My shoes are completely waterlogged after trekking here from the banks of Dihua Marsh. The last time I took them off to pour the water out, a frog jumped out. From the scale of this ruin, I suspect it is the temple that provided safe refuge for civilians during the Archon War several millennia ago. I've heard that the god of salt built such a place. Liyue folklore holds that she was the gentlest of the gods. In the brutality and chaos of wartime, human beings were puny and disposable. But the salt god refused to join the other gods in their senseless battle for dominance, instead choosing to give shelter to those dispossessed by the war. She brought them here to build a new settlement. She showed them kindness and comfort, and even as global upheaval ushered in the end of an epoch, she worked tirelessly to bring about a return to peace between the gods. It seems that most parts of the ancient city have sunk into the riverbed of Bishu River. It's fortunate that the foundation of the temple is still here after all this time. She amassed a group of followers who settled in the area now known as Saltere and lived a humble existence. The city stood for several centuries, finally falling with the downfall of the god herself. The gentlest of the gods fell not in battle at the hand of the other gods. She fell at the hand of one of her own people, the people she had loved so dearly. He was the first king of the people, and also the last. He had once loved the god of salt just as the rest did, but as a mere mortal, he ultimately could not fathom the self-sacrificial love the god embodied. He sought after military might, in the hope that the city might be able to hold its own in defense and attack. And so, to demonstrate that gentleness was a virtue unfit for the times, he took a sword and ended the life of the lone, defenseless god. No sooner had she met her demise than the temple itself collapsed, and the people's city crumbled like salt into the earth. As for the treacherous king's fate, theories abound, but none are certain. Some say he continued to reign in solitude from the ruins for centuries, finally turning to dust long after the cries of war had subsided. The ruins had been engulfed by the river, and insects had hollowed out his scepter. Others say that he took his own life after taking that of the god, unable to bear the guilt of deicide and weighed upon his conscience. In any case, the people on whom the salt god had once looked so fondly became scattered across Liyue. In the safe haven of Liyue Harbor, under the rule of the Geo Archon, they and their stories survived, and that is why we still hear about them to this day. Rumors say that the salt god's body can still be found somewhere in the depths of the ruins. Though her body has turned to salt, it still maintains her posture from the moment she was struck by the king's sword. It looks like we're in for some heavy rain. Dark clouds are gathering as far as the eye can see. I'd better get moving. I'm going to head northwest to Mount Kingcha. Mount Singcha? Yeah. I'm going to head northwest to Mount Singcha. Hopefully I can make it there before the rain gets too heavy, and hopefully it's not such a mad dash that I lose my diary en route. Diary of Rold the Adventurer, Volume 2. Jingsa Village. Leaving Dragonspine, I waded through rivers, walked across shoals carpeted with silver grass, and made my way through sun-dappled bamboo forests before finally arriving at Mount Jingsa. My shoes and clothes are all soaked from the heavy rain. Luckily, the elders in the village were kind enough to let me hang my clothes in the assembly hall. They even prepared dry clothes and some food for me. There were many children in Jingsa village. Sweet as they may be, they can become quite clingy. There were also many elders here. People living here seemed happy and carefree. The elders said that most of the young people had gone to work in Liyue Harbor. Many of them already had a family there, and they would send money back every month. Having seen the prosperity and convenience of the city, it's hard for these young people to go back to the rural life here. Liyue Harbor has brought peace and prosperity to Jingsa village for the time being, but eventually it will also be the cause of its demise. Legend has it that the word Jingsa originated from the name of an ancient monster, Qi. Qi, of course, is what we call it now in the contemporary language, but in ancient times, the people of Liyue pronounced it as Jingsa. An elder said that thousands of years ago, Morax defeated the sea serpent and brought peace back to Liyue. After Qi died, its body turned to stone, its blood became water, and its scales are now the terraced fields. The monster's nest became what we now call Mount Jingsa. But after a quick look, I believe the mountains consist of mostly rocks shattered by impacts from the outside. No traces of a hydro monster can be found in the rocks. Perhaps the corpse of Qi is long gone, and this monster turning into a mountain thing is nothing but an ancient tale. My next destination is the lake located amongst the stone peaks of Jeyun Karst. It is said that there's a labyrinth where the Adepti live. Let's see if I can find them. Volume 3, Diary of Rold the Adventurer. Eosong Lake, Jeyun Karst. I seem to have lost yet another diary. I don't understand. I even made sure to say to myself 3 times, whatever you do, don't lose your diary. But then I got caught up in my adventure and it went straight out of my head. I waste so much paper every year. I do hope the Dendro Archon won't mind. I've arrived at a mountain lake located high on Mount Eosong. To get here, I had to hike up a winding dirt trail, make my way across perilous wooden walkways built by herb gatherers in ancient times, and then scale a steep, wet cliff. I was told by some fishermen that the lake is 1,000 furlongs deep, but after taking a dip in the water, I can safely say that their statements were pure hyperbole. The Jingsa village elders were right after all. The mountain lake's water is sweet and warm. This place certainly lives up to its reputation as a celestial paradise. Back when I had just arrived in Jeyun Karst, an old farmer told me that the Adepti possess a mysterious magical ability that lets them turn into mist and roam in the sea of clouds. I dismissed it as an old wives' tale at the time, but seeing the way the mist over the lake rises up to the summit and merges together with the sea of clouds, it does make me wonder. The Adeptus I've been searching for could be roaming the clouds at the summit right now, for all I know, and I would be completely oblivious to it. I headed east down Mount Eosong and ended up thoroughly lost in a thick forest. Finally, I came to a clearing and discovered I was back at the banks of the Bishu River. I have an excellent view of the surrounding area here, so I think this is where I'll camp for the night. While I was sorting through my things at the camp, I met a young lady who looked like she was heading out on a treasure hunt. She was called Eduarda, and she explained that she was heading west to look for a miraculous lake at the foot of Mount Eosong. Legends tell of an Adeptus who lives beside a lake at the foot of Mount Eosong on the northern side. If that's true, then that's sure to be where the Adeptus keeps their secret treasure, too. I know exactly what I'll do when I get my hands on that treasure. Then she quickly changed her tune, as if suddenly realizing how she sounded. I'd contact the guild and report to them if I found it. I'm a proud member of the Adventurers Guild, and I have absolutely no connection to the treasure hoarders. Indeed, some adventurers are in the business for material wealth alone. I'm reminded of that classic Liyue song, "To each their unfathomable own." But whatever her motivations, she is a fellow adventurer nonetheless, and a genuine one at that. I must say I was tempted to head west in search of this fabled miraculous lake myself after hearing Eduardo talk about it, but in the end I decided to stick with my existing plan. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, I will proceed to the Gueli Plains to see what sights and treasures are waiting to be discovered there, and hopefully I won't lose my diary again this time. Again, barring any unforeseen circumstances. I can't lose another one. May any unforeseen circumstances be well and truly barred. Volume 4, which is missing, unfortunately. It seems to have been dipped in water with the watermark of a fox's footprint. That's adorable. Diary of Roald the Adventurer, Volume 5. Yaguang Shoal. This is the delta of the Bishu River, where the sand and mud carried by the river has accumulated into an open and flat shoal. When I finally arrived, the shoal was shrouded in a blanket of fog. My new shoes were soaked again. I heard the sound of some unknown monsters coming from the fog, but couldn't quite tell their exact location. All that was left to do was set up the tent and wait for this blasted fog to drift away. When I was staying at the Wangshu Inn, a merchant told me about the legends of Yaguang Shoal. He started with a poem. Jade-lustered waves washed into the ocean, while the conch lay empty on the white shoal. The meaning of the poem is that the sunlight, pure as jade, glimmers on the surface of the Bishu River and seems to flow into the sea along with the river water. But the Green Conch Lodge on the Yaguang Shoal has been unoccupied for some time. I once ventured into the fog to visit the seashell sanctuary, but didn't see the owner. A legend among fishermen has it that the Green Conch Lodge was the home of an adeptus, the green conch itself, in fact, constituting part of her very being. She provided shelter for travelers who were lost in the fog, took care of the shipwrecked survivors, and bid Godspeed to other adepti on crusades against sea monsters. But older fishermen interpret the legend differently. They say that the seashell sanctuary was not the abode of an adeptus, but of a family that had lived in the giant seashell for generations. They devoted themselves to helping the lost and saved many fishermen's lives. It seems the fog is drifting away, and the sun is almost visible now. Next up, I'll borrow a boat to get to Guyan Stone Forest and visit the ruins where the Geo Archon vanquished the sea monster. I should arrive in no time at all if the weather is good. Diary of Roald the Adventurer, Volume 6. Guyan Stone Forest. We skirted past a few small islands occupied by hilly churls, managing to steer clear of their line of sight, and made it to Guyan Stone Forest successfully. 6 giant stone pillars kept the sun out of my eyes as I went ashore, and it was remarkably cool in their shade. The crabs on the beach were big and meaty. Maybe it's because the area has been nourished by the remains of a magical beast for millennia? Anyway, they taste great roasted. The sheer beauty of this place makes it hard to imagine that it was once the site of a bloody battle between the Geo Archon and the sea monster. Suffice to say, the blood once shed here has long since vanished into the sea without a trace. I suppose that everything pales into insignificance when faced with the scale of the sea, whether it's a single drop of an ordinary person's blood or rivers of blood shed collectively by the heroes of the past. The relentless flowing of the winds and waves are destined to wash every last trace of it away. In the end, everything will be just as it always has been, since time immemorial. Legend has it that the Geo-Archon once carved a giant polearm out of the rocky land. He plunged it deep into the ocean, riding it straight through the body of the demon that wrought chaos upon his domain. Over the years, the wind gradually eroded the stone polearm into the form we see today. Later, I'll return to the mainland to camp out for the night. From where I am, I can see the ships leaving the harbor in the distance. As I write, the Crux is setting sail once more, embarking on its next grand voyage. I wonder what mission the Cheesing Commerce Guild has entrusted to the legendary Captain Beto this time. I had the most awful night's sleep last night. I dreamt I was somewhere pitch black and damp. Suddenly, I was the sea monster, and my impaled body was being driven into the ocean floor by the Geo-Archon's polearm. I writhed around and clutched at the giant polearm made of rock, trying desperately to free myself, but it was wedged firmly in place. Each movement I made filled me with agony and with rage. Note to self. Guyonstone Forest is not a good place to spend the night. I woke early, so I lit the campfire and I'll move out once the sky is bright. My next stop is Leo Harbor. I just need to be somewhere that I can get my clothes washed, beard trimmed, that sort of thing. Once I've sorted myself out, I'll make another trip to Jayun Karst. I didn't make any progress on finding the Adepti last time. This time, I think I'll try my luck at Qingyun Peak. Another note to self. Do not lose my diary again. Amusingly, Volume 7 is missing. The pages have the scent of flowers that grow on cliffs. And the subsequent one, Volume 8, is also missing, but spots of shining green moss can apparently be seen among the pages. Diary of Rold the Adventurer, Volume 9, Dragonspine. I began my ascent of Dragonspine from its southern side, where the mountain meets the riverbanks and plains of Liyue. The mountain slopes gently here, the wind is soft, and the snow is light. Added to the unfrozen water sources, it makes this place a good choice for setting up a base camp. Once I have prepared my supplies, I will make a camp here before continuing my climb to the summit. After setting up camp, I took the chance to survey the surrounding ruins. What intrigued me is that the architectural style and artistic patterns are strikingly similar to those seen in ancient buildings elsewhere. This could very well mean that the fabled mountain civilization of old is right beneath my feet. Unfortunately, I did not find any well-preserved inscriptions within the ruins, so there was no hard proof of the ancient civilization's historicity. Perhaps I will find more information is preserved further up the mountains, buried deep within its bitingly cold blizzards. Spending the night here is an unpleasant experience. The cold, damp wind chills to the bone, and the way it shakes the tent sounds like the roar of a rushing river. Guaranteed nightmare material for once you do manage to fall asleep. There's a cave by the water, and it must be spacious in there, because I can hear the ghostly groaning of the wind echoing inside. Unfortunately, the entrance is tightly fenced off, and there is simply no way to get through from the outside. I will start advancing further up the mountain a little later on. There are some remnants of the relatively recent past by the path, which, if I'm not mistaken, can be traced back to the era when Mondstadt was ruled by an aristocracy. I dug up some fragments of clothing and some irreparably damaged weaponry. The dense snow and ice seem to have slowed down the decomposition process, preserving any pieces of the past that they swallow up for a long time to come. The way that the items are distributed leads me to believe that a chase once took place here on this mountain path, or possibly even a murder. It seems that even fierce blizzards and sinister mutations pose no obstacle to humans intent on following through on their dark ambitions. In the end, this Archon-forsaken snowscape has become stained by mortal transgression. As I climb further up the path, the wind becomes stronger and the temperature plummets to an unbearably low level. I scouted out a ruin to the northeast, where to my utter astonishment I found water. It was somehow unfrozen, in defiance of its perennially blizzard-beaten surroundings. From the location, I would estimate that it is linked to the stream I saw further downhill. However, this area is so cold that I could not afford to explore deeper inside the ruin for the risk of freezing to death or drowning. I left a makeshift sign there to mark the spot. I just hope that it doesn't get buried in the snow. I suppose that once upon a time this could have been an underground shelter, and that over the years the groundwater has seeped in and flooded it. But I have also heard that the tyrants of the distant past were partial to a form of punishment whereby they would jail a prisoner, lock them in a cage, and then slowly pour water in, just so they could force the prisoner to watch in alarm as the water slowly rose up from their ankles to their mouth, nose, and finally their forehead. Such a cruel and drawn-out punishment, and in the sheer cold of this climate it is all the more impossible to imagine that any managed to survive it. Further to the east, the road becomes more rugged. I had a stupid accident and very nearly broke my leg because of it. I was lucky to only receive a superficial wound and no major bone injury, but it also tore a great big hole in my windproof clothing, so now I feel the full force of the wind right against my skin. It feels awful, like being stabbed constantly with a sharp knife. I managed to find shelter from the wind before my wound went completely numb. I just about managed to sew my clothing back up, but there's no way I can continue to the summit like this. I made it back to camp, finally, on the verge of freezing to death. As I warmed my feet by the bonfire, I removed my socks to find that 3 of my toes had turned purple from the cold. But no matter. Right now, I'm still enjoying the feeling of coming back to life after such a close brush with death. When the storm died down a little, I looked up and caught a view of the peak, towering there silently against the dark sky, encircled by giant, jagged rocks, and yet secluded among them in the center. The bard's songs tell of an ancient evil dragon who lies buried there in the mountain stream. I wonder if it, too, yearns for the celestial heights, even as it gazes up with its rotting and blinded eyes. Many villagers who live at the foot of the mountain liken this monstrous mountain to a blind spot in the eyes of the gods, a place ruled by the inscrutable force of fate. Old Mondstadt fairy tales speak of the mountain as a place of punishment that was abandoned by the wind of time and left for the howling winds to sweep in and freeze everything in its moment of a destruction. Yet something still stirs here. At the peak of the mountain, I heard its call in my dream. It was like a gentle song, pleasing to the ear, but somehow disturbing to the mind. This trip was a disaster, but at least I came out of it alive. Farewell for today, Dragonspine. Perhaps I shall return, though I do not know if I will ever make it to your summit. I think I will explore Liyue next, but first things first, my top priority is replenishing my lost supplies. Oh, and while I'm at it, I think I'll swap this soggy old diary for a nice new one. Volume 10, Diary of Rold the Adventurer. Rito. It's already been a few days since I've arrived in Rito, and yet the Konjo Commission still shows no sign of letting me pass. I don't know how long I'll have to stay. I hope Mr. Carrizo will find a way to get me out of here. Mr. Carrizo is the local commerce chairman. Originally from Fontaine, he is a reserved and friendly gentleman, possessing a certain charm that other outlanders makes feel at home. I'm pretty sure that should be that makes other outlanders feel at home, but I'd heard that Inazuma didn't welcome travelers, but it wasn't until I set foot in Rito that I realized the severity of the situation. The Sakoku Decree has been in effect for some time. While many travelers have chosen to stay on the island, many come and go, staying only for a brief period. Many merchants also packed up and went home. Rito, in its current state, is a gloomy and depressing place. It is said that hundreds of years ago, Hiroshi of the Hiragi clan built this commercial port. He recruited talented merchants to set up shop here and encouraged free trade. Rito flourished and prospered for some time, but poor Hiroshi would probably turn in his grave if he knew of the state that Rito is in right now. Still, his descendant, the current Kanjo commissioner, seems to be living the good life. It's enough to leave anyone feeling rather resentful. After a few days, Mr. Cariso brought me some good news. He has heard that the Crux fleet will stop by briefly in Inazuma. There should be a way for this famous armed fleet to smuggle me to another island, he said. I just need to be patient. I don't know if Mr. Cariso's information is reliable, but it's always a good idea to be prepared. First, I must think of a way to get my camp-making and fire-starting tools back from Miss Eureka. I will beg, if necessary. It seems that the shogunate has attacked another Sangonomiya outpost, inflicting many casualties. Or was that the other way around? The few outlanders who remain have all been gossiping. Even those in service of the commissioner have been spreading various rumors without fear. It is unclear what has happened, but still more merchants have packed up and gone home. Many military ships have come and gone at the harbor, probably carrying emergency military provisions. Perhaps I can take advantage of the chaos and confusion to retrieve my stuff from the warehouse. Oh, and I must remind myself not to lose this diary again. There are diaries with covers that are more beautiful and elegant, of course, but that's no excuse for replacing the old with something new. Diary of Roll the Adventurer, Volume 11. My exploration of Tsurumi Island has not gone smoothly. Earlier, it was thanks to a local youth named Kama that I was able to leave Rito successfully and arrive on Tsurumi Island undetected. At his direction, I tried to penetrate the thick fog that shrouds the island, and somehow managed to catch a hurried glimpse of the ancient civilization present here, as well as certain dreamlike landscapes. However, these memories seem to have dispersed, just like a mist might. But I can still clearly remember meeting a small child on this supposedly long-dead island. Perhaps he was nothing but a hallucination I saw under the influence of elemental particles floating through the fog. Or perhaps the mushrooms on the island were to blame. That child may have just been illusion or false memory, and this would certainly follow common logic, of course. But the second time I came, I brought a little more food with me, in hopes that the child would accept them. It must be hard living on a dead island like this one, I thought. The next time I came ashore, I did not inform Kama, and thus got lost in the thick fog very quickly. I tried all means and ways, but could not find my way through the fog. It was as if it was rejecting me for reasons unknown. If it were not for the blonde-haired traveler and the little fairy named Paimon, I would probably have had to return empty-handed, but they helped me to pick some local fluorescent fungus, which is rumored amongst Inazumans to have coalesced from the memories of the ancient dead of Tsurumi Island, which give them their phosphorescent, ghostly glow. They possess the ability to strengthen the eyes and mind and improve one's memory. I tried some over the last few days, and these fungi do indeed have the ability to calm the heart and cheer the spirit. It appears to be good for digestion as well. That said, I haven't seen any marked improvement in my memory yet. I must remember to leave a few for my friend in Sumeru to conduct research on. Additionally, I found the pictures of the ancient murals that the blonde traveler and Paimon brought to be most fascinating. They are certainly worth further research. That we were able to discover such valuable historical ruins at all is owed to the passion, wisdom, and determination of these two exceptional adventurers. Aww. I think I'm going to take a brief reading break to listen to a few things. Because voiceover that these guys present is fascinating. So we'll see what plays.
Mondstadt has so many windmills, doesn't it?
Well, the city is built above water, so it probably relies on the windmills to draw the water upwards.
That's correct. The winds blow through Mondstadt all year, so this supply of water is very stable. Also, the windmills are what they call visible winds, and wind chimes are called the audible winds. Paimon guesses they can be thought of as mascots and prayers to the animal Archon for protection.
Ah, mascots. So, like you then, Paimon.
No, not at all! They're made of wood, and you can't eat them in an emergency either, because all you'll do is grind your teeth down.
I don't know what to say to that. I've heard that if you give tavern owners a considerable tip, they'll be willing to give some information on the down low.
You mean the angel share? But Master D-Luke seems like a very rich man. How big a tip is considerable anyway?
Maybe I might have heard wrong. Or maybe I might have heard this rumor in another world.
You sure have been to many worlds, haven't you? Cider Lake never freezes, no matter what time of year it is. The best apple ciders in Mondstadt can only be made using the fresh water from this lake. It really does taste great. Paimon could drink 2 big bottles in a second.
Wow. With your size, I can't believe that you can drink that much liquid. And not explode like an animo slime.
Paimon has a special stomach just for tasty drinks.
A special stomach? I have so many questions about how this world works. About those books in the restricted section that Lisa mentioned. Have you ever wondered what sort of books might be kept in there? Perhaps it contains books not suitable for children.
Huh? But the Boar Princess isn't in the restricted section? What could be more unsuitable for children than that? Paimon's curious.
Oh no. Paimon, no.
Paimon finds that hard work hardly works here in Mondstadt.
Why do you say that?
Just look at Huffman from the Knights of Favonius. He does his best at his duties every day. But the ever-relaxed Captain Kaya is his boss.
But isn't Jean, who works the hardest, the acting Grand Master?
Well, how about this then? Venti's the god of Mondstadt, and he's the laziest of them all.
Sure would be nice to spend a night at the Goth Grand Hotel.
Paimon thinks so too. The rooms are sure to be big and clean.
Still, I've heard Mr. Goth say that they've had all kinds of strange problems ever since the Fatui moved in. The electro-sissons that their mages brought in attracted a lot of dust with static electricity, which ended up killing a lot of those sissons. Then, someone mixed up the mist grass pollen in the pepper, and the agents ended up brawling amongst themselves, each insisting that the other owed them money for wine.
Hang in there, Goth Grand Hotel.
Oof.
Everyone says that Mondstadt is the land of the wind. But I wonder which direction the seasonal winds come from.
Why don't we ask Venti?
He'll probably just dodge the question with a or something.
True. The Animal Archon is just a tone-deaf bard. What does he know about the wind?
So here in Mondstadt, alchemy is practiced out on the streets?
Is that so strange?
In many of the worlds I've been to in the past, alchemy has always been a secretive art. Watching alchemy being practiced as a part of daily life is like being in a world where people have 3 stomachs.
Paimon thinks only having one stomach is weird.
Are you serious?
What do you think?
Okay. Paimon commenting that only having one stomach is weird. I have so many questions. She's already stated that she has a stomach specifically for special drinks.
Tevat's day and night both seem particularly short. The skies here are full of stars, but they aren't the same as the ones seen from my home. I wonder if the fates of people from Tevat are also related to their constellations.
Oh? Do you know how to read the stars too? That's amazing! Not a lot of people outside Sumeru can do it. Paimon's curious. Come on, do a reading for me, quick!
The night sky pictured on Paimon's cape flows with the light of many stars, and also of the deep ocean. The movement of these stars tells me that, in say 7 days from now...
In 7 days what?
Something good or something bad might occur.
Right. Your theory sounds as rock solid as a geo-slime. And about as brainy, too.
On the way back to Mondstadt after rescuing Dvalin, we finally got to see one of the 7 Archons, didn't we? It was interesting to see what kind of god he was.
Haven't we known Venti for quite a while now?
As Venti, yes. But still, this was the first time that we got to see him as the Animal Archon Barbatos. Normally, he hides his true divinity behind the facade of a bard. What does freedom really mean when demanded of you by a god? That question that he asked Dvalin? I'm still contemplating that, you know?
Mondstadt is full of wide plains and rolling hills. People say that when Barbatos made this land, he used the storm to flatten the cliffs and valleys.
Still, it looks like he missed a few spots.
Like Star Snatch Cliff?
Exactly. On the map, it almost looks as if it was meant to be the apex of a vertical structure, but ended up at the wrong orientation.
What's an apex? Paimon's heard that couplets are a traditional art form in Liyue. If you can write a line that works as a second half to one that someone else has written, you'll be well paid. But linking the couplet is hard, so it's not easy money. Not only does the rhythm need to match, but the meaning has to as well.
Care to give an example?
Wind rises, winds never churn.
But the sea of clouds always return.
Not bad. Let's not waste time here. We've got some money to make. There's a saying of Rex Lapis that's commonly used here in Liyue. Paimon thinks its rough meaning is don't play with your money. It's because the first Mora were minted from his golden form and given to humans in trust.
Kaya sure seems to enjoy playing with his money.
And that's why you shouldn't learn from him.
Well, as a child, I was taught not to play with my food.
Yup. You've got to respect your food. What are you looking at Paimon for? Walk in 7 clockwise circles. Then walk in 7 anti-clockwise circles. Then open your eyes.
Are you sleepwalking?
Nope. Paimon is just trying to see if that antique shop from Heart's Desire actually exists.
Well, assuming that a shop in a story does exist, what would you like to buy, Paimon?
A slime creator.
Does such a thing even exist? Lately, some Guhua clan disciples have been retelling an ancient story.
The Guhua clan, huh? Paimon bets it's a heroic story.
Several male disciples decided to partake of a contest of arms to see who would marry their female junior, and she approved.
Ooh, Paimon's heard this one. In Liyue, they call this a joust for a spouse.
But the night before the contest, she stole the eldest disciple's favorite sword.
Aw, so she wanted him to lose. Poor guy.
I know, right? Forced to use a sword he wasn't used to, the eldest disciple suffered a crushing defeat. Unable to accept this result, he fell to his knees and wept.
Oh no, he must have really loved her, right?
In the end, he was forced to marry her in front of everyone.
Wait, so the loser had to marry her? Did you know the reeds in Dihua Marsh are common materials used in making paper? The solid reed cores are used to make pens, while the hollow part is used to make flutes. It's all very sophisticated. Over the years, many heroes and swordsmen have also chosen Dihua Marsh as the location of their duels. The more reeds, the more elegant the place. But in places where the reeds are the thickest, the water can be quite deep. So there are a lot of unlucky duelists who fall in and drown while the duel is on.
And what's my takeaway from all of this supposed to be?
Don't get into a fight in Dihua Marsh. Paimon's heard that in Liyue, people call the crane the gentleman bird.
And do you know why that is?
Paimon's not quite sure.
Well then, let me tell you the story of the lucky crane repaying its debts. A long, long time ago, there was a kind-hearted scholar who saved a lucky crane that had fallen into a trap. Later, on a cold winter's night, a beautiful maiden came to his door asking to lodge with him. The maiden shouldered a greatsword on her back and taught all that she knew of swordsmanship to the scholar, supervising him as he studied day and night.
Wow.
Once he had finished his training, he went out into the wilds with the maiden to do good and fight for justice. 10 years later, the lucky crane took the form of a gentleman and finally came to return the favor, but discovered the couple had already lived out a fortuitous life. And that is the story known as the gentleman's 10-year debt.
Ah.
Interesting.
Rumor has it that Jueyun Karst is the abode of the Adepti.
Wow! The abode of the Adepti.
Perhaps we'll meet the Adepti on those cloud-piercing mountain peaks.
Wow! Meeting Adepti!
But I wonder, how would one normally communicate with the Adepti?
Wow! Communicating with Adepti!
My emergency rations seem to be going bad. Best to consume them quickly.
Ahem! Well, Paimon thinks that shouting from the mountaintops should work.
That seems more like a way of getting the attention of a hilly churl rather than an Adeptus. To think that the Geo-Archon had signed a contract with the Cryo-Archon. I wonder what the contents of their agreement were.
Paimon doesn't care who you are. Making a deal with the Tsaritsa is super dangerous.
Be that as it may. Since Morax is the god who understands the basis of contracts the best, he's definitely given this some thought.
Well, that's true. Morax himself called it the contract to end all contracts.
I trust that we will witness the truth and its denouement play out.
Well, come to think of it, while Rex Lapis enjoys visiting his people in private, he only descends officially once every year. None of the other gods do this. Does Rex Lapis have any deeper intentions?
I have my guesses. You see, those annual divine predictions have already captured the hearts of the people of Liyue too much. Round and around, they analyze and scrutinize every single word, finding limitless hidden meanings within them. What do you think would happen to Liyue if such predictions were available every day?
Ah! Paimon gets it now. Paimon would be offering Rex Lapis's favorite favorite snacks to him every day. If you could just get Mora straight from Morax's hands, who would ever need to do a day of honest work?
You made some logical leaps, but that's basically how it is.
If you want to adventure together with Benny's adventure team, you have to come prepared. Domains are very dangerous, so you should always take care to double and triple check your supplies in advance. Paimon's heard that the Adventurers Guild has compiled a list of 463 different ways of dying in these domains. If Bennett got you killed by accident, Paimon and Bennett would never forgive ourselves.
Why am I the only one dying here?
Well, that's because according to the numbers, Paimon can avoid 322 causes of death just by floating.
I suddenly don't feel like exploring these domains. I've heard that Albert, being the leader of Barbara's fan club, sometimes gets bumps and bruises on purpose so he can go to the cathedral to see her.
Paimon feels the Knights of Favonius should keep a closer watch on weirdos like that.
But it seems that a month later, Albert discovered that Bennett was managing to see Barbara far more than he was. Well, Bennett does have the natural advantage when it comes to getting injured, after all.
What is this? A Let's Bother Barbara contest? Barbara's really popular, isn't she?
Well, she is the idol of the people of Mondstadt.
Come to think of it, Paimon doesn't really know what an idol is.
It's an occupation in which one's work is to be cute, be well loved, and earn a boatload of mora.
Isn't that the same thing as being a mascot?
That's one way to put it. Lisa and Amber feel a bit like sisters.
Huh? Why's that?
Amber often runs errands for Lisa. Older siblings asking their younger siblings to do things for them so that they can slack off is a rather common practice. But my sister and I are the same age, so we had to decide these things via rock, paper, scissors.
Whoa, so doesn't that make you my younger brother?
What do you mean?
Well, since Paimon floats, you're the only one who can run any errands.
Seriously? Paimon, have you ever seen what Kaya looks like under that eye patch?
Nope.
So, it would seem he never takes it off.
Actually, Paimon already knows why.
Oh?
He must be hiding some big secret.
Really? A secret?
See, Kaya heads out for assignments more than anyone else. So the skin under that eye patch has to be way lighter than the rest of him.
So, if he ever takes that eye patch off...
He'll definitely become the butt of everyone's jokes. Maybe he'll even get a weird nickname. Like, say, Pasty Eye.
Guess he didn't need to take it off to get a weird nickname.
Strange.
What's wrong?
Diluc and Kaya are really alike, so why don't they get along?
How are they alike again?
Well, Kaya's the kind of guy who acts shady in the light of day, while Diluc is a shining beacon of justice in the dark of night. Don't you think that's kinda the same thing?
I still don't see it. If one hilly churl could be, say, 3 wild boars, then how many hilly churls would it take to reach the fighting prowess of Master Jean and Master Diluc?
Not sure. But if you heard the way everyone talks in Mondstadt, you'd know that Master Jean is the strongest.
I'd say that if Diluc strikes first, Master Jean wouldn't be able to counter.
Oh, she'd find a way.
There's no way.
Master Jean's elemental burst is really strong, you know.
Yes, but that field would also make Diluc stronger.
Paimon doesn't think Master Jean would even need her vision to take on Master Diluc because...
Diluc would only need a beginner's greatsword to... This is so dumb. They both fight for Mondstadt, so they wouldn't come to blows.
That's why Paimon likes your idea of measuring their fighting strength in number of hilichurls. Or, in Paimon's case, in fifths of a wild boar. You know what a brush is, right?
Of course. Kinda like pens, but with animal hair at one end for calligraphy, right?
That's correct. They say that finely made brushes sell for high prices among Liyue's merchants.
So, would you like to make some too?
Uh-huh. But wild wolves are too fierce, so we should use Razor's fur to make brushes instead. Razor's fur is all downy and soft. It'll definitely make great wolf fur brushes. We can make lots of Mora like this.
Brushes made like that would conduct electricity. I'm not sure we could use them. Besides, Razor isn't a wolf, nor are wolf fur brushes made from actual wolf's fur.
Huh? Why are they called wolf fur brushes then?
Well, does Cider Lake look like it's full of cider to you?
You have a point. Klee's a really interesting kid. All the knights seem to like her a lot too. You could even say they spoil her.
I wonder who makes the better mascot, Paimon or Klee? Oh, wait, I forgot. Paimon's not a mascot. Paimon's emergency.
Hey! Paimon knows exactly what you're going to say. That joke stopped being funny a long time ago. It's time for Paimon's Little Life Tips.
Little life tips?
In Mondstadt, if there's something you can't fix, or there's something you can't get clean no matter what you do, if you ever run into something you can't handle yourself, you just need to shout this name into the skies. Noel! And everything that's troubling you will be swept away in an instant.
So this is one of the tricks to living in Mondstadt. Pretty impressive.
Fischl makes a very unique impression, doesn't she?
How so?
Well, she travels together with a talking raven for starters.
Well, I'm traveling with you. It's not all that different. Still, Oz can also translate for Fischl. You, on the other hand...
What? Paimon's way better than some bird.
How so?
Well, at least Paimon doesn't need wings to fly.
Speaking of Fischl, she also claims to be a visitor from another world. We're similar in that way. We even bring a pet along with us.
Pet? Now wait just a minute here.
But her raven, Oz, he looks cool and is polite to boot. More importantly, he can both scout and fight. Very useful indeed. Maybe I should make arrangements with Fischl to trade companions once in a while. For, say, a week or two at a time. It should be quite interesting.
Hey! Doesn't Paimon get a say in this? How do you become as popular and cool as Captain Beto?
With enough experience?
Paimon's already seen lots of things from adventuring together with you.
One also needs to experience trials and setbacks.
Paimon almost drowned that one time.
Maintain an inspirational disposition.
Uh-huh. Paimon's always rooted for you.
One must also have a mature outlook towards problems.
Hey, are you just trying to say that Paimon can't make it? How does a person become as rich, no, as super rich as Lady Ningguang?
Is that the only impression she gives you? Riches?
Well, there's the huge jade chamber too. But isn't that also made of Mora?
Well, you need an excellent mind.
Well, Paimon's really good at giving people nicknames.
You need to be very familiar with the workings of the markets.
A serving of fisherman's toast goes for 1,025 Mora, and no discounts, even on rainy days.
You also need to be willing to work really hard.
Okay, then. So, how do you make friends with a really rich person?
Wait, you're giving up already?
Do you think that Chi-Chi needs to drink blood?
That's not a zombie, Paimon. That's a vampire.
Then, will she transform during a full moon?
Werewolves, Paimon, not zombies.
Huh. As expected of a traveler, you really know a lot. So, what special things can zombies do?
Exercises?
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. So the ones that do exercises are zombies. Got it. Come on, Paimon will teach you how to fly. 3, 2, 1.
Paimon's gone. Well, whatever. I'm tired. Let's just sit here for a bit. I'm flying with you in my heart.
What sort of slime do you like the most?
Pyro slimes, I suppose. You can feel their warmth just by getting close. That's something you'll need in the winter.
That's very practical, as expected of a traveler.
What about you, Paimon?
Paimon likes them all. They're all very tasty.
Tasty?
Turning slimes into bubbly, lovely, jubbly meals is the Paimon special.
Well then, I suppose that's one more thing I can eat before you become emergency rations, huh, Paimon?
Paimon would rather not be on that list at all.
Do you think that we're too harsh on the hilly churls?
Well, sometimes we really do seem like children who just can't resist kicking the hornet's nest.
I think we're doing more than just kicking it. The Sleeper Tribe. The hilly churls sure have interesting tribe names.
The Sleeper Tribe will take any opportunity they can to take a nap. Paimon's heard that their animal skin beds are really soft. Would you like to try them?
Not going to try it yourself, Paimon?
Paimon can sleep while floating. The air is the softest bed. Pretty sweet, huh?
Just a little. The Meaty Tribe? These hilly churls pick the funniest names.
The hilly churls of the Meaty Tribe make regular sacrifices. The altars they build are really huge.
What do they pray for?
For meat to eat every day. It's an awesome wish, isn't it?
I suppose I should have expected that answer. The Eclipse Tribe. So the hilly churls have normal-sounding tribe names like these too.
The hilly churls of the Eclipse Tribe are really mysterious. All the hilly churls of that tribe can draw an eclipse symbol. But rumor has it that only the Dada Sama churl of the Eclipse Tribe knows why the eclipse symbol is so revered within their tribe.
An eclipse symbol.
Did you say something?
I was asking you what sort of soup you'd like to have tonight.
Can't stop thinking about food, huh? Seems like you'd be more at home in the Meaty Tribe than the Eclipse Tribe. But anyway, Paimon wants boar soup. Thanks! Paimon doesn't feel so good.
What's the matter?
Paimon hasn't opened a treasure chest in so long. If this keeps up... Ooh...
If this keeps up, you'll one day get caught in a hunting trap with a single Mora as bait.
Hey! Paimon floats, so that'll never work. Wow, we've really had a lot of good food recently, haven't we? You know what they say, have food, will travel.
Won't you be unable to fly if you get fat?
Nope, Paimon never gets fat. So Paimon demands more food!
Ever eating, but never growing. Don't you fail as emergency rations then?
Yeah. Well, it sure doesn't look like you have any other candidates, so you'll have to make do with Paimon. Which do you like more, cats or dogs?
I prefer Paimon.
Aw, that's cheating. Wait, no, Paimon's not a pet. People say that if you put a star conch close to your ear, you can hear the whispers of the ocean.
Do you want to give it a go, Paimon?
No need. Paimon just heard it.
Oh? And what did the ocean say?
The ocean said that it's time to eat, so let's go. Paimon wants some fisherman's toast. We should get something tasty to eat. But Paimon doesn't want to have to go get it.
Shall we decide with a game of rock, paper, scissors then?
Ooh, okay.
Alright then. Rock, paper...
Super Paimon Tornado!
What?
Paimon's been working so hard recently. Any ideas on how to relax?
Sleeping?
Sleeping's boring.
Reading?
Paimon will get dizzy.
Having a chat with some friends?
But those are all things that require thinking. And not thinking is more relaxing.
And thus the Paimon Paradox, famed in the histories of philosophy in Teyvat, was put forth. Liyue's cuisine is very different from that of Mondstadt. For example, you can hardly find spicy fried dishes anywhere in Mondstadt.
That's why they say climate creates cuisine, you know? But wait, why do all of Teyvat's slimes taste the same then?
That's because you only know one way of cooking them.
Wow, a weasel thief's backpack can really hide a lot of mora.
Well, it's because weasels by nature enjoy collecting shiny objects.
Paimon's heard that the origin of the weasel thieves has something to do with the treasure hoarders. Also, aren't crows the type to collect shinies as well? Paimon wonders if Oz has a secret stash of mora that he collects behind Fischl's back.
Well, now that you mention it, Paimon, I wonder, do you?
Nope, nothing here. You won't find any mora in Paimon's shoes. No way.
Paimon, have you ever read Vera's Melancholy before?
Well, it sure sounds familiar.
That book's pretty popular, and I've heard that the author made a tidy sum off of it.
Paimon would love to make lots and lots of mora. It's decided then. Paimon will write an adventure story as well.
A Tale of Adventure by Paimon?
Correct. It'll be a story in which the brave traveler defeats the dragon, saves the world, and then sits down with his reliable companion for 10 servings of sticky honey roast.
10?
Uh-huh. A happy ending attracts the readers after all. It's decided then. We'll call it Paimon's Happiness.
Wait, what?
Have you ever had one of those super scary nightmares?
I've dreamed of falling through endless darkness without a wind glider. I've also dreamed of my sister walking away from me while I'm unable to catch up to her no matter how fast I run. She tells me that I've come too late.
Oh. Yours are quite different from the ones that Paimon's had. Paimon's scariest dream was being eaten by a super giant slime.
Where do those treasure-chasing Seelie come from, I wonder?
Maybe they grow out of the ground. Or maybe they fall from trees. Well, Paimon doesn't know where they come from, but where there are Sealy treasures not far away.
Still, why do I feel a certain sadness every time they touch those treasures? No, it's probably just my imagination.
Well, if you don't want the treasure, Paimon can hang on to it for you, free of charge. Has anyone left a big impression on you during our recent travels? For Paimon, that's Sarah.
Timmy.
Huh? Why him?
His face comes to mind every time I've eaten a sweet madame recently. Really makes it hard to chow down.
You learn new things so quickly. You've already got such a good grasp of Tevat's language.
You're a good teacher, Paimon. Who knows? Maybe the quality of your nasty nicknames will improve someday. What monster made the deepest impression on you?
Monsters, huh? Probably ruin guards.
Does a ruin guard really count as a monster? It's more like a machine.
Paimon thinks that you can call anything that causes us trouble and needs to be defeated a monster. Just like how we call anything that can be hunted prey.
Is that so? Well then, I think I'm finally able to classify you now, Paimon.
Huh? What do you mean?
You can be hooked and reeled in. Therefore, you're a fish.
Hey, do that again! You know, that thing!
Which one?
The one where you make your weapon disappear with a swish, and then whoosh! You make it appear behind your back again!
Oh, that? Haven't you seen that a ton already?
But Paimon hasn't figured out how you do it yet. Could you explain it?
Well, can you explain how you suddenly appear in front of me and then disappear just as suddenly?
Well, Paimon seems to have always been able to do this, but Paimon doesn't know how.
Precisely. I believe that the art of putting my weapon away follows the same principle. Maybe it's this similarity that makes us such good friends?
What do you think of treasure chests?
I believe that they were left behind by great travelers who once passed this way. Every time I open one and look at its contents, I can feel a certain kinship with those who came before.
And that's how you get adventure experience. Look into Paimon's eyes.
Something the matter?
Kaya said that people's eyes will betray them. He can tell if someone is telling the truth or not just by looking into their eyes.
Huh.
Paimon loves fisherman's toast.
That should be the truth. Well, that's also because you love everything that can be eaten. Speaking of looking into people's eyes, I remember one gaze that left a particularly deep impression on me.
Whose gaze was that?
A ruin guard's. Really made me want to poke its eye out.
Paimon's so bored. So tired.
Well, since we're bored either way, want to imitate the other knights for fun?
Huh? Isn't that a bit disrespectful?
I see you already have the knightly virtue of modesty and politeness. Very impressive.
Hey! Paimon sees what you're doing. Cut it out!
Are there pigeons around?
No. Paimon's just hungry. What Paimon needs right now is a traveler who can whip up some delicious sticky honey roast. So, who's gonna be the lucky traveler? It's hard to talk about the recent events in Inazuma and not mention the Vision Hunt decree. But you don't have a vision, so you don't have to worry about losing one. On the flip side, if you are caught by the Tenryou Commission, you also can't surrender your vision in exchange for your life.
I can tell them that you are my vision.
Another reason to have Paimon around. Wait, what?
Don't worry, I wouldn't let them take you, Paimon.
That's more like it.
We'd just go to jail and suffer punishment together.
Well, if that's how it would go down, then maybe you should hand me over to them. Wait a minute! How about we just don't get caught in the first place? Only the ones who have the will to fight back are allowed into the Resistance. Huh. In that case, Paimon also qualifies as a member.
And what exactly are you trying to resist, Paimon?
Paimon has been resisting against the fate of being squished all this time.
Then you probably won't get in.
Why? Is it because Paimon isn't fighting for the same cause as the Resistance?
It's because you're fighting for a lost cause, I'm afraid.
You meanie! Kamelian Cannon? Kamui Juicy Cannon? Kamui Jimmy Cannon? Ugh, what a mouthful.
What are you reading, Paimon?
Look, it's the super weapon the Shogunate army has constructed nearby to protect Tatarasuna. Kamui Jima Cannon!
It looks really powerful. And yet we didn't see it do anything while we were in Tatarasuna.
It seems like the Resistance knew how strong it was. So before formally waging war against the Shogunate, they had covertly occupied this place. But this Kamui Jima Cannon needs either special ammunition or electro to work, so it's no use to the Resistance. The Shogunate army put so much time and effort into creating this weapon, Paimon really wants to see the extent of its power.
If all you need is an electro user, perhaps I can help.
That's right! Now we just need something that would serve as our cannonball. Huh? Why are you giving me that look? Hey! You know what? When we first arrived at the Komori tea house, Paimon really thought that Tarumaru would be able to speak.
You sound a bit disappointed.
Of course! If Tarumaru could speak, Paimon feels that he'd say something really interesting.
For example...
Toma! Stop hiding around here! You're in my way! Woof!
Huh, that makes sense.
Or... Kozue! You're bound to me for the rest of your life unless our contract is terminated! Woof woof!
You didn't believe Kozue when she said she'd signed a secret contract forcing her to work part-time at the tea house, did you?
Oh! Paimon just thought of another one! This one's quite good! Just look at this visitor. Paimon, is it? Look how cute and clever she is. Today, all her meals are on the house! Woof!
There's no way Tarumaru would say something like that. What are you mulling over, Paimon?
Do you remember Goro's fluffy ears? Paimon really wants something like that. Oh! Or maybe horns similar to the ones Ganyu has! Ganyu's horns are pretty cute as well. Do you have any ideas?
Let me see. Oh, I found something.
Really? Aw, Paimon always knew you were reliable.
Ta-da! I present to you the tusk of Monoceros Chaely.
Paimon doesn't need that. If Paimon can't have Goro's fluffy ears, then maybe at least something like his fluffy tail.
But da-da-da! Here you go. Tail of Boreas.
Not that! Also, combining those two is definitely not the look Paimon is going for. It's amazing that Inazuma has places like the Yai Publishing House, which specializes in publishing novels. They even host competitions. Wow.
If that's the case, then perhaps you can submit a draft of the book you've been working on. Paimon's Happiness.
Well, about that. Paimon has misplaced the drafts on our way to Inazuma.
Really?
fine! Paimon hasn't started writing it yet! It's not Paimon's fault! Paimon's been meaning to do it, but 3 days ago, Paimon's pen broke. And the day before yesterday, Paimon had hand cramps. Yesterday, a sprained foot. Today, Paimon's hungry.
It sounds like you'll sooner write 1,000 excuses with Paimon than Paimon's happiness.
Kazuha is a free spirit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he seems to be a bit of a loner, too.
Being able to explore the world at his leisure while savoring the beauty of everything around him? That doesn't sound too shabby. You aren't thinking of sneaking off to go on a solo adventure, right?
I would never leave you, Paimon.
Aw, Paimon's really happy to hear that. Here, have this.
Monthly food expenses? 300,000 mora?
Hey, wait! Where are you going?
I suddenly feel like going solo. Maybe it's not a bad idea after all.
Please don't go! Wait for Paimon!
Paimon, you look so serious today.
That's because Paimon's thinking about serious things. Paimon's jealous of people from wealthy and influential families. They have an endless supply of mora and mountains of delicious food to eat.
I can't disagree. Those are exactly the things you're fond of.
But after getting to know Ayaka better, Paimon realized that a young lady from a noble family can also have her share of hardships. She needs to shoulder her clan's duties and responsibilities. She works so hard and has very little time for herself. Ayaka must be exhausted. She should try to relax a bit. Ah, that's right! Let's invite Ayaka to the next festival! If she got an invite from us, there's no way she'd refuse!
Yeah, I'd like to go to another festival with her.
Besides, if Ayaka's around, she can pick up the tab for us.
I should have seen that coming.
Ayaka gives a sense of noble elegance with every gesture she makes.
Can you do an Ayaka impression, Paimon?
Let's give it a try. Oh my, you've been picking mushrooms so earnestly just to make chicken mushroom skewers for me? How cute.
That was nothing like Ayaka, but even though you didn't sound like yourself, it didn't feel completely out of place for you either.
It's a well-established tradition that during Inazuman celebrations, everyone's wearing festive masks. Paimon tried to look around the stalls, but hasn't found any mask that fits.
So you really want a mask of your own?
Of course! Not wearing a mask during an Inazuman festival is the same as not receiving a bouquet at the Windbloom festival.
Let me make one for you.
Whoa! You're the best!
I wonder what kind of mask will fit you best. How about a slime mask?
Yay! Paimon slime! Do you think Yoimiya's dad's poor hearing is related to fireworks? He's been making and testing fireworks for many years now, and being exposed to the sound of gunpowder explosions on a daily basis. Oh, Paimon can see how that might have worn down his ears. Yikes! Since Yoimiya is inheriting her family's business, does that mean she'll have trouble hearing other people in the future? Just like her dad? Paimon won't let that happen. Let's think of some way to help her.
Do you have any suggestions, Paimon?
Oh, Paimon could follow Yoimiya around and cover her ears whenever needed.
Then you'd need to leave me.
Oh, without Paimon, you lose your guide. Paimon wouldn't leave you like that. But what should we do for Yoimiya?
Actually, she can simply wear earplugs while working with fireworks.
Oh, yeah! Paimon didn't think of that solution. so smart.
That was the first thing that came to my mind, but I wanted to give you an opportunity for a mental workout.
Ah, so you knew this whole time but didn't tell Paimon? How could you, you bully? Sayu seems to have a lot on her mind. Paimon can't understand why she'd have so many worries.
I guess this is what they call growing pains.
Paimon can't relate to that. After all, it's not Paimonly to worry too much.
Bad news! We're almost out of Mora! I guess we'll have to tighten the purse strings for the next few days.
What? No!
See? You're not as carefree as you thought.
Oh, how could you break Paimon like that? Those Onikabuto bugs look so scary. The patterns on their backs are terrifying.
Do you mean those demonic patterns? It's because they don't like to fight, so they purposely evolve their patterns in a way that scares their enemies away.
That's really smart. We should try to learn a thing or two from them. We could borrow Xiao's mask. If a Hilichurl saw you wearing it, do you think they'd run in fear?
I don't think Xiao would agree to that.
Yeah. How about we ask Sayu to steal his mask for us? She knows ninjutsu that allows her to vanish into thin air. She can steal it for sure. Problem solved. If we are afraid of Xiao evening the score with us, how about we steal Child's mask? We've kicked his butt many times before.
I don't think stealing other people's belongings is a good idea. Also, what if Sayu doesn't agree to all of this?
Then let's visit Albedo first. If Albedo can develop a growth serum for Sayu, she'll help us for sure.
Brilliant. Now we just need you to come up with a way to make Albedo help us.
Paimon's head is going to explode. Let's stick to festival masks for now. Even though knotweed has a flower-like structure, its petals are in fact leaves. Its actual bloom is rather fragile, so the surrounding leaves try their hardest to grow strong and protect it. Just like Paimon is protecting you right now.
Just like you? Oh, is knotweed edible too?
Yeah, that's right. Wait, what are you trying to say? Did you know the people of Inazuma use the vibrations of knotweed to forecast thunderstorms? Because knotweed grows in areas that are infused with electro. It's naturally drawn to thunder and lightning.
Does that mean knotweed is similar to you, Paimon?
Eh? How so?
You know, because you usually hang out in areas infused with gourmet food and are naturally drawn to tasty snacks.
That's true.
Paimon radar activated.
Beep, 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 beep. Delicacies, here we go! The blossoms drifting down from the sacred sakura are so dazzling. Paimon heard that those flower petals can stay suspended in the air for so long because of being infused with electro.
Is it the same principle behind your levitation abilities?
That's because...
You do know what allows you to fly, don't you, Paimon?
Paimon can fly because of, mysterious powers, obviously.
Got it. Seems like you have no idea. How about we let Albedo do some research? He's good at cracking such mysteries.
Please don't.
Hello, Priscilla. I am uninterested in the group, but I appreciate the suggestion.
Lavender melons sure are useful. Their flesh can be eaten, and their skin can be processed to make dyes.
Paimon sure is useful. She can serve as my guide, and she can also give other people ugly nicknames.
Yep, thank you for your validation. Wait a minute. Is there more? Is Paimon about to get roasted? Paimon's gonna cover your mouth to stop you from talking. Have you noticed? In Inazuma, people who wear swords on their waist are a minority. Most soldiers use spears. Could it be that swords are a symbol of status? Should we wear them as well? But the swords here are all too big for Paimon. There's no other way. We'll have to find a famous swordsmith to make a custom one.
A custom-made sword will cost a lot of Mora, though.
Are you saying that Mora is more important than the desires of your lovely companion?
Actually, I've already prepared something for you, Paimon.
Really? Really? Let's have a look! Hey! Isn't that the knife we used to cut fruit?
Well, at least it's the right size for you. What matters isn't the value of the sword, it's the fighting spirit.
Nice try, but Paimon won't fall for this, no matter how cool it sounds. Did you know there are hot springs in Inazuma?
But there are no volcanoes.
Paimon heard that the heat comes from a giant furnace. If we get the chance, Paimon also wants to check out a hot spring. Unfortunately, it seems like only the big shots are granted entry.
Let's head back to Dadaupa Gorge in Mondstadt.
Huh? Why so sudden?
Back in Dadaupa Gorge, the hilly churls have a huge cauldron that's heated by flaming flowers. It should be similar to a hot spring, right? You can bathe in their soup, I guess.
In Inazuma, it's customary for parents to choose a lucky name for their child.
Those names symbolize everyone's expectations and wishes for the child, like prosperity, wealth, good health, and safety.
Because of these expectations, parents often pick extra long names and cram all sorts of blessings into them.
So, hypothetically, if one day a little girl fell into a lake on her way back home, then her friends might rush to her house and tell everyone, "Something bad happened!"
Oh, what happened?
Osvaldo Hrafnavines, Prinzessin der Verurteilung, Fischl von Luftschloss Narfadort, come quick! Centennial genius astrologist Mona Magistus has fallen into the water!
Mona falling into the water doesn't sound like an emergency situation, though.
Precisely. The fast-swimming Mona would come back home around the same time her friends are done saying her name.
Inazuma's scenery is quite different than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, Inazuma's an island nation.
Before the invention of boats, how did the people living on different islands communicate with one another?
According to Yoimiya's dad, they probably use smoke signals to transmit information. Or they would...
Yeah?
They would commission people who could freeze the water surface to travel between the islands and deliver messages.
Whoa! If Kaya had lived in Inazuma back then, he would have been even busier than Master Jean now. Tanuki are really mysterious creatures.
I think they're really cute.
Yeah, they're cute until they start talking.
I wonder... If you couldn't talk, would you appear to be more mysterious and noble?
Are you trying to mock me? Did anyone tell you that there are monsters called Tanuki in Inazuma that can take on the form of any human they see?
I heard such rumors before. They must know some mysterious transformation techniques.
What if one day a Tanuki tricked you by transforming into Paimon? Oh no, Paimon's worried now.
No worries. I'd surely be able to tell the difference. Wait, you're just concerned about my Mora, aren't you?
Of course! No! Paimon's only concerned about your safety. Stop looking at Paimon like that. Look, just think about it. If there were two Paimons, how would you find out which one is the real one? What do you mean, hee hee?
See? Only the real Paimon would respond like that.
Paimon got tricked again. We've been passing by a lot of small shrines lately, but none of them seem to be dedicated to the Electro Archon.
They were probably built for lesser deities. The people of Inazuma believe that everything around them has a spirit, and those spirits will help them in their time of need.
Oh, so the people make shrines for them and give them offerings.
Yeah, in a way, it's a form of prayer and a token of appreciation.
Paimon gets it now. Let's find Ayaka and have her put up a shrine for us. If we do that, we'll be able to get lots of offerings as well. Paimon's so happy.
Is that an acceptable thing to do?
What's wrong? Haven't we been helping out everyone this whole time? We may be doing an even better job than those deities.
You do have a point. But when I picture people placing flowers or fruits in front of a shrine for me, it doesn't feel right. It never stops raining on Yashiori Island. I heard it's because of the lingering evil energy.
Evil energy? What's that? Sounds terrifying.
It's caused by the remains of an evil god somewhere on the island. Because its power hasn't fully dispersed, the remaining energy causes all sorts of misfortunes. That's what I meant when I said evil energy.
Oh, that makes sense. But Paimon doesn't think rain is a bad thing. Maybe that god has been crying all this time because they were bullied.
Crying? I don't think gods can cry. I mean, I've never seen Venti or Zhongli cry before.
There are exceptions. If you pinch Paimon, you'll be able to see a crying god.
Are you a god?
Paimon sure is.
Okay, let me guess. The flying god of silly questions? The god of slimes? Or the god of being fished out from the water?
Paimon's none of those. As your bodyguard, Paimon is the god of protection.
In Hanamizaka, there's a place called the Bantan Sango Detective Agency.
Paimon remembers. It's the one run by Sango and Ryuji, right? Everyone speaks highly of them.
I heard that they frequently get caught up in strange incidents, and some places have banned them from entering their premises.
Paimon thinks that's undeserved. After all, Sango and Ryuji have helped a lot of people.
Would you invite them if you were organizing a dinner party? What if halfway through the meal, one of the guests suddenly shrieked and collapsed onto the ground?
If that's the case, then Paimon thinks it's a bad idea. Paimon suddenly feels that hanging out with them could be dangerous.
Well, that's the price you pay for being a famous detective.
Oh, yeah! Have you drawn fortune slips at the shrine before? If we draw them before our next adventure, they may provide us with some guidance.
But what if our draws are inauspicious or turn out to be a bad omen? If that happened, we'd probably end up in a bad mood.
Oh, that's fine. According to the Shrine Maidens, if someone draws a bad omen, they just need to hang it on a tree in the shrine. So we should keep on drawing and drawing until we get a super lucky draw. Then we'll hang all the bad ones on the tree.
If everyone did that, there'd be no more space left to hang the slips.
Muso no Hitotachi is amazing! It can be any enemy with a single slash!
But for Child, it might need 3 slashes.
Yeah. Anyway, if you mastered that technique, Paimon wouldn't have to worry about you for the rest of our journey.
So where can one learn that technique?
Yeah, where can one learn that technique? Quit looking at Paimon like that! Oh, okay. Paimon will keep an eye on you during our adventures. Did you know that Sangonomiya Kokomi, she's Watatsumi Island's divine priestess? In other words, she's the ruler of Watatsumi Island, the whole of Watatsumi Island is controlled by her. Paimon also wants to become a big shot like her.
What will you do after you become a big shot?
Then Paimon will deliver justice. For example, the suspect in question, known as the Traveler, ate 2 dango for lunch and only gave 1 to the victim, Paimon. This is a serious violation of Article 37, Fairness and Justice of the Paimon Decree.
Oh, may I ask how Your Excellency Paimon plans to resolve this issue?
Of course! As compensation for your wrongdoings, you will have to make even more dango for Paimon! Paimon wonders what the previous Shogun was like.
It appears that she was a person who understood the fleeting nature of things, and accepted the inevitable fate of departing this world one day.
After all, realizing the fragility of things in front of you makes you treasure them even more.
This way of thinking must have influenced Inazuma's aesthetics. This world is transient. People come and go. The fun times we shared, our companionship, and the delicious foods we got to savor. Those emotions and experiences are real things that existed at some point in time, not just empty concepts.
Even though every banquet must eventually come to an end, it'd be nice to enjoy those happy moments for a little longer.
Shifting seasons and elusive dreams, the ephemeral and fleeting. With thine companionship, all are eternal.
Paimon doesn't get it.
I'm saying that I'm having a lot of fun traveling with you, Paimon. It'd be nice if we could just go on like this forever.
Paimon will take your word for it then. The clothes that the Shrine Maidens wear are quite unique.
I heard that after the Sakoku decree is lifted, Yae Miko plans to run a rental service where people can try on Shrine Maiden outfits as a tourist attraction in various places. Combined with the latest camera technology from Fontaine, it seems like a real Mora maker.
Oh.
The Shrine Maidens in the Grand Shrine even asked me if I knew any pretty girls who are willing to become models. All they need to do is dress up in a Shrine Maiden outfit and smile to the camera. They even asked me to be a model and said all I needed was some makeup.
What?
I immediately shared this idea with Rosaria. I feel like they can do something similar at the Church of Favonius with the garments they wear.
Wait, I don't think that,
Sadly, Rosaria found the idea of it too troublesome.
maybe it's for the better. Oh, I give Paimon a painting. Turns out it's not edible, but Paimon is still very happy with that gift.
Aoi? The general good shop owner? Let me see.
Here, but be careful. It was painted by a famous artist, Utamaro. It's quite valuable.
Utamaro? I think I've heard that name before.
Of course! Master Utamaro's work can be found all over Inazuma after all. Did you see one of them in Ayaka's residence? The one that Paimon has right now isn't too shabby either.
Oh, I remember now. One of those paintings was used by Yoimiya as kindling, right?
Huh? Kindling?
Yeah, I think Toma used it as padding for table legs as well.
What? Padding?
And if I remember correctly, I also saw Sayu use a stack of those paintings as a cushion for her nap.
Sayu has several of those works? That can't be right.
Real masterpieces aren't mass-produced. If you ask me, that Utamaro isn't a real master at all.
Hey! The Komori Tea House is doing surprisingly well. They have a great number of visitors every day. Oh, we should also open a tea house! Paimon feels it'd be really profitable.
Well, if we do end up opening a tea house, then you're gonna be the boss for sure.
Huh? Deal! Paimon didn't think that you'd have so much faith in Paimon's abilities. Paimon will make sure to be a responsible manager and make our shop the best tea house in
I don't think it'd need to be managed. Do you remember Taromaru?
Yep, he's the owner of the Komori Tea House, right? A lot of the clients go to the tea house to play with him rather than drink tea.
So I was thinking if you were running the shop, you'd definitely be more popular than Taromaru.
Of course! Hey! So you don't really trust Paimon's management skills? You just want a mascot!
With the abolishment of the Vision Hunt decree, I guess the Sakoku decree will be the next one to go.
Here's hoping that everything goes well.
Let's encourage everyone to hold on for just a bit longer.
Yeah.
If we get the chance, let's find Atsuko and tell her that the sakura trees in her homeland are blooming.
How is that supposed to comfort her?
What next? I know. We'll play some. We'll play some Windtrace. That sounds fun.
Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude.
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
'Twas on a deserted moonlit night that the hero approached the vile dragon's limpid lair. The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Have you heard about the Vision Hunt Decree?
If my calculations are correct, Wanwen Bookhouse is due to receive a batch of new releases today. Might we add a small detour to our adventure? Time to act. Body and mind. Add astro. Time to act. Time to act.
Another meaningless day.
Transfers of supplies must be.
Join me! Give Windtrace a go!
Okay, wooden basins, wooden barrels, and lamps. I've actually been really enjoying this. I don't feel like I'm all that good at it, but it's still a lot of fun.
There are still documents that need to be seen by the Commissioner. There are still documents that need to be seen by the Commissioner.
Time to clean up the garden and put up some flowers for the young lady.
I have no idea how old they got.
If there's anything you wish for, I'll gladly be of service. Time to clean up the garden and put up some flowers for the young lady. If there's anything you wish for, I'll gladly be of service. Let's see. What else do I have left to do today? Let's see. What else do I have left to do today? If there's anything...
That was fun, though.
I'm sure the Kamisato clan will be fine.
Body and mind.
Join me!
Oh, I haven't been a hunter in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that was the best I've done as a hunter. That one is clean. I'm so jealous.
These materials are still no good for sword making.
I really need like a solid group to play this with.
Time to act. Actually, not a bad spot. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh. This is nerve-wracking. Oh. Oh. Don't get cut. Oh. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh god. Body and mind.
Oh, I was so close. special things. I can't get those until, I think, tomorrow. Okay, Mysterious Hunch. And Sensor Aura. Capture a rebel within 10 seconds of using Mysterious Hunch. Okay. Detect a total of 3 rebels using the Sensor Aura.
Join me! Give Windtrace a go!
I think this will be my last thing for the night. Oh my goodness. Of course, the one with the Among Us symbol is the hunter. Very sus.
If my calculations are correct, Wanwen Bookhouse is due to receive a batch of new releases today. Might we add a small detour to our adventure? Body and mind. Time to act.
Oh. Nice. Dang. Never used a disguise. That's... Jeez. Okay. I am not that talented yet. Okay, I'll give us one more round. Level off at 8 o'clock. That seems good. Oh, okay. Gotta be Tartaglia for this.
No time to lose.
Faster? Okay, faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
think with that, I am going to call it an evening. I wish you all well. That was a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining me as you were so inclined to do. And let me know what you thought. It was really fun during the narrations. It was also a lot of fun listening to the traveler's story. Hadn't actually heard most of the traveler's lines, so it was kind of cool to get the chance to actually hear what they had to say. Yeah, I'm going to work on being fairly consistent Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, so look forward to that. And I might do the occasional Saturday too, just for funsies. Yeah, anyway, I hope y'all had as fun a time as I did,